Hi y'all, if you're new here, welcome to the channel, and if you're returning, welcome back. I decided to do a little bit of decorating today and thought you all could join me. So let's go ahead and get started. For a little context, if you're new to the channel, we are on my island Briar today, which I am trying to complete in 2025. And I have several goals of what I consider to be completing my island, but the one most relevant to today's video is having a fully decorated island. And while I know we're not outside decorating the island today, I do also want to have a fully decorated home, because that's what my character deserves after all the hard work she puts in around here. In case you missed it, I did already film a speed build of me decorating the kitchen, which is the left-hand room off of this main floor, so if you're interested, I'll have that linked below. But for today, we're going to get started with this main room, which I am going to make a living room. And one thing I really wanted to make sure I include is little pieces of real-life me in these rooms that I can share with you all as we're building. I decided to start off with the wallpaper, flooring, and rugs, and I think I'm going to leave the white wall be the main wall feature for now, with the bricks as an accent, and just put a couple of rugs down to help separate the room into little sections. I really wish I had the elegant beige rug, but I haven't been able to get that from Sahara yet, so until then, the elegant brown rug will just have to do. My thoughts are that the larger area rug is going to anchor the seating area in the fireplace, and then the little rug in the back corner I'm going to make into a reading nook. One thing that is actually very not like me in real life are these green couches. I am terrified of any light colored couches and getting stains on them, even though they look beautiful, so I'll just live vicariously through the game. Now that I have the main structure of the living room down with a coffee table and some couches, I'm gonna go ahead and go through all of the houseware items and just pick out some of my favorite furniture items. My thought is that since I like them, I should be able to make them work in some way somewhere in the room. And now I am moving on to the reading nook area of this living room. I absolutely love reading and have since I was little, back in the days of the Nancy Drew series and the Boxcar Children. Today that's evolved a little, and some of my favorite series are Lord of the Rings, Throne of Glass, really anything fantasy related, but I also do love historical and literary fiction. I am planning on going back to the reading nook area of the room to add some more decor and filler items, but for now I'm going to be moving on to put down some of the other larger furniture items I know I definitely want to use in the room. So another fun fact about me is that I have been playing piano since I was 4 years old and was a music minor in college. So I also knew I definitely had to include a piano in this living room as well. At first, I thought about trying to use the grand piano, but the fact that you can't angle it, which is how it should be in my head in this room, just made me irrationally upset about it, so instead I went with the upright piano. I think it fits a little bit better with the layout as well. I think the room is looking pretty good so far, so now I'm ready to move on to the filler items, which I think is the most fun part of a build. I love a trinket in real life, so any surface I included in the build, I wanted to make sure had something on it. entirely sure why I decided to include lit candles on top of an already lit fireplace, but I just love the wedding candle item and wanted to make sure I was able to include it somewhere in the room. So there it sits, I guess. So I'm just now realizing this while editing the footage, and I forgot to put a KK song in that music player that I have. So I will definitely go back and add that at some point. But then I also wanted to include this little item also on the ranch table as kind of a catch-all to put your keys, your wallet, and anything that you might want to grab before going out onto the island. Finally, now I'm circling back to the reading nook area, and I don't want to clutter it up too much, but I do want to include a Zen cushion and a stack of books. So this endless scrolling is me trying to find the Zen cushion and then giving up and filtering alphabetically instead. On a whim, I decided to include a coat rack as well. I do not live in a cold or rainy climate. It is pretty hot almost year-round here, but I think the coat rack is just such a cute item, and if I lived in a climate that warranted needing it, I would absolutely love to have one in my entryway. All done with the furniture and decor items, and now it's time to decorate the walls. For loving trinkets so much, it's funny, I don't typically have very much art on the walls in my real life house, so I'm not going to include too many things on the walls on this build either, but I do want a couple of things here and there. I'm not planning on including any overhead lighting in this room, so I want to include a lamp right here by the piano so you're able to see the sheet music, and then I think just one piece of art right next to it, and that will call it for that area. I am also going to keep this wall pretty minimal. I want the fireplace to be the main focal point rather than artwork, so just that one painting over the fireplace is going to call it. Then for some consistency, I used the same wall sconce on the wall over by the entryway as well, and I decided to include a painting here. On the other side above the bike, this will kind of lead into our next build, but for that wall decor, I wanted it to look like maybe my character had painted them herself and decided to hang them up in the entryway. But before I could do that, Rudy decided to crash the party and come to say hello. His surprise arrival must have shook me because rather than displaying this as a canvas like I had initially intended, instead it wound up all over the walls. So luckily, Rudy decided to leave at that point. He must have realized he had interrupted something he wanted no part of here. And quickly I was able to fix this design disaster that had occurred. So now I'm just taking one last check, making sure there's no other items that I want to use. Then we'll go ahead and get the cruiser bike placed back down and take a look at the finished build. Now we'll move on to the back room. Growing up, I also took art classes about once a week, so I wanted to turn this back room into a painting studio. My art teacher had converted her garage into a studio, and there would be roughly 5 or 6 of us there working on whatever project we happened to be doing at the time. I chose to paint probably 90% of my classes, but we could also pick other things like pottery or rubber block carving or mache. She also taught art history for about 20 minutes each class, which looking back now, that was such a cool concept because it exposed me to all these incredible artists and pieces while I was still a very young age. But for some reason, whenever I had these art lessons, it always seemed to be raining, so she would open up the doors and let the breeze in whenever that happened. So that inspired my wallpaper choice, and also I wanted to use the glow-in-the-dark stickers over this wallpaper just to kind of create a similar vibe of opening up the doors and letting that rainy air in. It did take me a little while to choose a flooring for this room. Some of the tiled ones were really fun, but ultimately I decided to go with the same flooring as the living room for some consistency. I feel like the wallpaper already kind of sticks out, so I don't really want competing energy. after making some of those base room decisions, I decided to go in with some of the decor pieces first. And my thought for this section of the room was that this would be a little bit of a prep station. So this would be where you would start off your class by going to pick out your paints that you were going to be using and put them on your palette before heading over to your canvas. Every art class, I always had to arrive with a snack, so that gave me the idea of having the little box-shaped seat next to a canvas. Now, I was not drinking coffee as a child, but I did think the little yellow coffee cup was too cute to not use for the purposes of the build, just since it matches the flowery painting so well. I also wanted to make sure I included several different painting stations within the room. Maybe my character has some friends coming over to paint, or some of these are just past projects that she's worked on that are now drying in the corner. Also, for a little bit of realism, I wanted to include this hand washing station in the room that you could use before heading back into the house. So this could be used to clean off some of your paintbrushes at the end of your lesson, but then also make sure to wash your hands or anywhere else you may have gotten paint. I don't know if it was just because I was a kid at this point, but I always seemed to leave art class with paint on the back of my shirt and having no idea how it got there. And that is gonna call it for the painting studio. I decided to keep the walls really minimal since, again, the focal point is really supposed to be the art and the accent wall here. So now we'll move on to the third room. So my vision for this room is that it's going to be a bathroom and laundry room combo. And overall, I want it to feel darker than the other rooms in the house we've worked on so far, since those have been pretty light and airy feeling. So in this room, I decided to go with this dark herringbone pattern wallpaper, and then also use the brick wall as an accent, since I seem to be doing that in every room, and now I feel like I have to be consistent. I also wanted to play around with using some of these tall counter items to make a built-in situation surrounding the tub. I haven't really used this item very much, but they are absolutely great. I think I'm more used to using the fireplace and flipping it around, but when you do that, it still leaves a gap, whereas with this, it doesn't at all. It's very seamless, so I love this item. Before Before moving on to the other corners of the room, I wanted to go ahead and kind of clutter up this area. So I added some candles, that bottle that I'm going to pretend is shampoo or conditioner or something like that, and the glass jar, which probably is supposed to be a kitchen item, but I'm pretending it's bath salts. And then I moved on to the laundry room portion, and I know those are both technically the automatic washer, but I personally have front loaders and they look identical to me, so I just kind of decided we're gonna have two washing machines here and pretend that one of them is in fact a dryer. Our bathroom is almost done, so I'm just going to add a little vanity here for the sink and a stool to put on your makeup, and then add a few wall decor items, and then we'll take a look at the finished build. Last but not least, we're heading upstairs, which is going to be the bedroom. And I am so predictable at this point and started off picking the same flooring as the rest of the house. I was pretty torn though between a couple of wallpaper options. Green is technically my favorite color, but it seemed a little too dark for the look that I was going for, and ultimately I went with the beige wall instead. It looks more pink to me anyway, which I like. I also decided to include some partition walls for this room. It's pretty large if you don't divide it some way, and then I feel like now I can have the larger portion be the actual bedroom and the smaller portion be a crafts room with a little desk. I love the Ranch and Elegant Furniture series. They're two of my favorite in the game, so I decided to include a lot of pieces from those series. Plus, since I've used some of them in different rooms of the house overall, now it feels cohesive. I want the overall feel of this room to be kind of cutesy and cozy. So I added some different smaller items like the jewelry box, stuffed bear, and the little mom's stuffed dog as well. I collected Beanie Babies growing up, so the bear and the dog are kind of an homage to that. It takes me an embarrassing long time to find the pet bed. I think at first I was searching for dog bed. I also wasn't sure if it was going to be in the miscellaneous or the housewares section, but eventually I do find it. It just takes about a minute. Finally, after I did manage to find it, I moved on to rugs and wall decor. And similar to downstairs, I do wish I had the elegant beige rug, but this one will have to do for now. I found these little custom patterns on Pinterest and just had to include them. They look so sweet, and something about the frames looks vintage to me, which I love for this room. Now moving on to the other portion of this room. I had initially thought about having a computer on the desk, but something about this room is giving younger, childlike vibes in my opinion, so I capitalized on that and instead included items that would have been in my childhood bedroom. I did a lot of knitting with my grandmother back in the day, so I decided to include a jar of yarn on the desk as well as a little crafting set complete with a pincushion. And then on the little bookcase, I decided to add the sewing kit as well as the sewing machine. I have never used a sewing machine in my life, but I felt like it just fit the craft room vibes, and I think it's a cute item. I finished off this little craft room with a bulletin board and the macrame tapestry that I'm pretending my character made herself. And with that wraps up this room as well. So thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!